Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Who has the real power at Celtic Football Club is the question this morning. Martin O'Neill, when he came back, when he was given the job till the end of the season by Dermot Desmond, he said to Dermot Desmond, he says, I might not even be here till the end of the season if results do not go the right way. And Dermot Desmond replied, I know. No ambition, no targets, no decisions. That seems to be Celtic all over this season. The decision to allow Alistair Johnston to go back to Canada for the international break. We all thought he was just appearing on telly, but he'd take part in a training session. Martin O'Neill said at the time that he would rather that Alistair Johnston stayed here to recuperate, to get better, to get ready to come back and start playing football. He was just on the pitch and no more. He was getting eased into training sessions. Martin O'Neill, in his last interview before the international break, says, I would prefer if he stayed here, but you never know. He might end up being on camera somewhere in 2 weeks' time. So don't blame me. I don't know where any of the players are. I don't know nothing. Martin O'Neill has no power at Celtic whatsoever. He is just a caretaker. And as much as we love Martin O'Neill, it shows the way that this board have run the club this year. It's another mistake that's cost Alistair Johnston to be out again. With the fact that we were looking forward to Alistair Johnston being back on the pitch, and you're thinking, right, well, Rocco's out injured, it's now imperative that Celtic Football Club get a Rocco back within the next 3 or 4 weeks, because we are down, and it seems, I don't know about you, but I just want this season over. Do you know, if we win it, we win it. If we don't win it, I just want it over now. It seems to be the only good news of the last 24 hours would be the fact that Jota, Martin O'Neill says, hopefully, it's the whole hope with Celtic right now. And especially when it comes to players, there doesn't seem to be any real targets. I mean, the Johnston one, it was a bad injury. The Jota one, people said that there's every chance that he might be out, but it might ruin his career. He's never going to come back. He's never going to be the same Jota. Well, Henrik Larsson was out for a big period of time and he came back and he was a fantastic player. The Jota injury is not career ending, said Martin O'Neill yesterday. And the manager said, whoever will be the manager in the summer, hopefully Jota will be back for that manager pre-season. It's been a long time during his rehab, and he's had a couple of setbacks. But I had a conversation with Jota, with him about it, and where he's at. He was down in London a few days ago at the surgeons, having another consultation, and he says things are going great, but I've had a couple of setbacks. These type of injuries you think are going to be straightforward, says Martin O'Neill. They're not. You get stopped in your tracks, and then you think that when everything's going well, it clearly isn't. I would be hoping, Martin O'Neill said, that whoever is going to be in charge of the football club, that Jota would be ready for pre-season. That's what I'm hoping for. You know, the hardest thing is trying to get really motivated. Every time that you think that there's a little bit of a rising sun for Celtic moment, you know, on Easter weekend, you're thinking this could be the resurrection of the title hopes, or the crucifixion of the season. We've still got the cup to play for, and I'm still positive about the cup. I still remain. I don't think that we will win the league. If we do, I'll be ecstatic. But nothing's changed my mind since December, and I'll be completely honest. It's just the way that we've went, and I think that the Alistair Johnston scenario when you've got a manager saying to the media, I would rather he stayed here. I mean, who's making the decisions? It could be well that AJ's camp ain't taking no chance on his World Cup ambitions. Well, if they weren't taking any, yeah, I get that. A player wants to play in the World Cup, and the World Cup manager wants to see him and stuff, and he's an important player for the squad, etc., etc., etc. But surely, when it's the club that pays your wages and you have been out injured for a certain length of time and you're not back playing first team football, surely you stay at the club and you go through your rehab to get back onto the training pitch. Allowing the player to swan off to Canada and take part of a wee keepy up session on the TV studios, get his suit on and everything, and it's taking the piss. It's taking the sorry for it is Easter Saturday, but sorry for saying that, but it's taking the pure and utter piss. And it's I just think it's madness. It is madness. We seem to be shooting ourselves in the foot at every opportunity. Now, with the good news yesterday that the Green Brigade are meant to be back in the next home game is absolutely fantastic. And you're thinking, right, let's get the ball moving. Let's get this feel good factor back into the club and have a little push and just see for one little minute if we can push this over the line. But not. It's unbelievable. And it's Shattering News. It says Scotty Boy thought it was going to be a sign of the team getting better. Yeah, I think we all thought that. Joseph Pope says, "Can I say the Dundee game on Sunday is going to be really tricky because Dundee have a really intense and intensive to win." Yes, I know. And I'm not even. Gary says, "Same here, Baz. I also want it over. I don't want to win. My only hope is the cup." The board shot themselves in the foot big time. Big money lost next year. No Champions League money. Full rebuild. It could be third level down Europe League stuff, which for a club of Celtic stature, we need to stop this. We do. I'm just going to be honest this morning. Bugger it. We need to stop this a club of Celtic stature nonsense because we are world class at nothing. We are amateurish at everything. And this belief that we're a big club and we should be in the Champions League. You've got clubs with bigger football stadiums than Celtic that aren't in the Champions League. If you need a reality check, this is the moment of your life. This is the season that you really need to stop. You need to take your green tinted spectacles off and think that Celtic are some powerhouse. We're not. We were a powerhouse that dominated Scottish football. Because let's face it, Scottish football, anybody that can come in with a bit of money will be able to dominate Scottish football. And I just hope that the balance of power doesn't, on the barometer, doesn't swing too far over the next year. Because that's the reality of the situation. I don't like saying it. I don't like admitting the fact that, we're I mean, it's not pack of cards moment. I'll say that. I mean, Dave King says Celtic lose the league and it's a pack of cards, everything will fall. It didn't. In 2021, we lost the league and it wasn't a pack of cards moment. It was a, right, let's regroup. Let's find a manager that can take us forward. Let's fund the manager. Let's see if we can climb back up and dominate Scottish football. We did. But by God, we don't have to make it hard for ourselves. And this has been an ongoing thing since 2012. When you've got the chance to put the foot down and stamp down on opponents and show that you will never be overtaken. And I know it's hard in football. I know it's hard for clubs to come in and dominate for I mean, Alex Ferguson did it for many years with Manchester United. You know, there've been other clubs in England that have kind of dominated, but you're seeing them falling away, like what's happening in Manchester City. You know, Liverpool, great team. There are other big clubs out there that it happens to. You don't expect it to happen in Scotland though, because of the financial constraints of everybody. But when you cross the pitch, when you cross that line, it's 12 men against 12 men, and it's the old saying, you know, hard work will always outperform talent if talent doesn't perform. And right now, this season, we could have all the talent in the league, we can have all the expensive players, but if that talent doesn't perform, hard work, consistency will overtake you. And hard work and consistency is the only thing that Hearts have had all season. And that's why I think that they will still be champions. But you never know. You never. I'm still hoping. I'll get shot down. You're not a Celtic fan, I tell you. Yeah, it's going to be I am, for anyone to predict the financials for Celtic. If you think that it was nice having 77 million in the bank, you're going to complain next year. You're going to moan next year about, well, where's the money gone? Well, the money's not going anywhere. It's the revenue stopped coming in. So when you have that loss of revenue, you have to start chunking into that profit that you've sitting in the bank to pay for stuff, that players, etc., etc. It's going to be an unbelievable summer. Tosh McKinley is available on a free. She'll just get Tosh back playing. He's better suited in the stands these days. You've seen the size of him. Get Martinez with Scott Brown, says Joe. Talking about managers, there's obviously a lot of talk about Craig Bellamy. But Craig Bellamy, here is the issue. If Celtic are after Craig Bellamy, excuse me, he plays the Wilfred Nancy system. I'm going to call it that because it's the system that Wilfred Nancy played. And when he came to Celtic, these players didn't like it. Luke McCowan didn't like it. If we're going for a manager that plays 4-2-3-1 formation, how many of these players are going to stand up to the likes of Craig Bellamy and say, fucking your system shite, mate? Because that's pretty much what the players did to Wilfred Nancy. They didn't believe in him. They didn't believe in the system. We made excuses, or if we changed it in pre-season, or maybe if you give the players we're giving these players far too much respect right now this season, far too much. And I think when it gets to the end of the season and you see decisions, the likes of Alistair Johnson going, fuck, I'm away to Canada, I'm away to have a jolly, I'm in rehab, mate. It seems like everything to do with Celtic is just toxic, not just from the terraces to the board. It seems that it was toxic under Wilfred Nancy inside the building, and it just seems that toxicity just isn't leaving. And for Martin O'Neill to say, whoever is the manager, my hope that a player will be back is my good. But anyway, deep breaths. I'm not ready for a breakdown. I do get really emotional about Celtic, and when I know the money that people spend every year going to games for all my mates, you know, I can go to my Facebook and I see them all going to games every week. Don't know. I see all the different buses going and people travelling from all over and follow Celtic. I see them when they go to European away games. Don't know. I mean, my last one was Madrid. God, I never thought that would happen, but I didn't fancy any of the away games this year. But anyway, it is what it is. Temporary manager, temporary players, temporary chairman. Everything is broken. That's the best. That 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 should have been the title for the video. That's unbelievable. That's Rab. You've hit it on the head. You've completely hit it on the head there. I bet I can't find your comment. Um, there we go. And guess what I could do live? Let me just do this. Rab, you are getting full. Let me just do this. And I've just changed the title. Temporary manager, players, chairman. Everything is broken. That is Celtic FC for you. Thank you for that, Rab. That is. I've saved that comment because that's everything about Celtic this year, isn't it? And it's hard for fans to get motivated and excited about a game when you're thinking you're going to the game, you're thinking, and you're sitting down wherever you're watching Celtic all around the world, and you're thinking, what team am I going to see today? How we went from fast one-touch attacking football to you sit down and you watch Celtic, and you know within the first 5 minutes now, you're sitting going, it's going to be a hard watch, this one. And we don't have the right. You don't have the right to win everything. You've got to have the hard work. But the issue is we don't have the hard work. We don't have the excitement of watching a football team play the Celtic way. Because this team doesn't even play football the Celtic way. Don't care what manager is in charge this season. We've never played football the Celtic way all season. And that comes down to the players. That comes right down to the players. The whole season has been one step forward, 3 steps back. It has that. I don't feel good about this club at the minute. The Huns can go top today. Did anyone see John Hartson on Let's Be Frank podcast? No, I didn't see that one. Club standards have gone to Donald Duck. Yeah, they have. As I was thinking back with players, with the players in the Green Brigade now, it's like they were meant to lose this league. It'd be it's a very Celtic thing to do, isn't it? I mean, as fans, we've thought this before, that sometimes that people in the board are going, let's just make it a little bit of a level playing field in Scottish football, where the fans went, no, let's just crush them. But it's interesting. Um, Bodo Glint do more than us. Yes, they do that. We are heading to the 1990s against this Scott. Good morning, Stephen Johnson says, Scotty boy. I just want this season to get to, if it's a total shit show, roll on the summer. Jim, if you think that this has been, wait for the summer, mate. That's all I'm saying. The summer is going to have us either hiding behind pillows and thinking, do you know the good? This is it's going to be a bad distraction this summer because the club could use the World Cup as a smokescreen. Have they even started discussions with anyone that could be potentially linked to the club? Drink my coffee before it goes cold this morning. Paul says, Stephen Johnson, morning, buddy, a bit depressing. I have the 90s feeling at the minute. A lot of us older supporters do have the 1990s dread. I mean, but it's not going to be as bad as that. But when we talk about 1990s dread, we talk about not winning. You know, it's not going to go financially. We're fine, so I'm not worried about that. But it's the whole. You know, we could go through a period here of just being a normal club. This is how it feels to be Celtic. We're still winning the league in the cup double, says Scotty Boy 73. But then Scott McGill says this is the wake up and smell the coffee moment for us. Oh, I'm still. my heart. My wife says, Missy says I don't have a heart. She says she'd like to stick a fucking knife in there, the empty hole that where my heart is. But when it comes to Celtic, it's all there. She's listening, going, "You absolute fucking knobhead." um, my heart says Celtic will win it. My head and my gut has got a big bit of fear, massive bit of fear. Craig Bellamy is talking about mental exhaustion after 15 games in charge of Wales. I don't think he's got the right mentality for the club. Money in the Bank has been ring fenced to subsidise Dermot Desmond's moustache wax. He'd never survive a month with Celtic. Too many shareholders, too many fingers in the pie, being ripped off for years. And the fact that fans are deluded. The board have played a blinder. That is another cracking comment, and it's true. The board have played an abs. I need to get my back sorted. Look at the way I'm sitting. I'm like one shoulder, my back's all. Anyway, this is the most frustrating season ever. Stephen Johnson says, "Good morning." Super chat from Perth Luxury. Ooh, Perth Luxury. I need to have a look at this channel. Sorry, everyone, but Perth Luxury. Where is it? Oh, missed it. Comment. I always like looking at channels. That's a cracking name. Watches and Whiskey. Get some videos up, mate. Watches and Whiskey. I'd watch that. Thomas, get some content up. Watches and Whiskey. That'd be a good channel, mate. That would do really well on YouTube, honestly. Sitting talking about whiskey and watches. Seriously, go for it. You got lives? No. Go for it, mate. That's a crack. Perth Luxury. Watches and Whiskey. I'd watch that. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. Baz, mate of mine, is now printing a Celtic version of the Saddam. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. Buy them. Don't use them on your don't use them on your channel. In fact, if he does it and he wants to sell them, I'll put a post up on the page for people to buy them. And then instead of showing red cards at Celtic Park, everybody just throws these cards at them at the board. Throw these this Saddam Iraq deck of cards, except with Celtic board members on it. Love it. Throw them at them. We need to give the board a red card, don't we? Maybe that's the campaign that they should be doing. Don't know. It's not another penny. The whole stadium goes in with red cards and turns around and gives the board a red card. That's what the next one needs to be. Every single person in the stadium takes in just a little bit of paper, bit of red paper, big bit of red cardboard. You'll get somebody coming out and just, I mean, could you imagine that? The whole stadium being in red, big red, just red cards, everyone red card to the board. That's a statement. That lets them know that the majority are against them. We need to start showing them that it's the majority. Do you know? The majority can win. We don't have midfielder, striker. People have diluted that we can win the league. Well, that's one question that Martin O'Neill wasn't even asked yesterday. Who will play up front for Celtic this weekend? Will it be Kelechi Iheanacho, who couldn't score statistically in a barrel of fish? They had to work harder during the game with Nancy's system, and players didn't like it. Well, if you get in Craig Bellamy Craig Bellamy plays for. He plays the exact same system as Wilfred Nancy. There's going to be a lot of these players at Celtic. This, if they're still here in the summer, are not going to be happy with the new system. And a big shout out to Perth Luxury coming out from Australia for his $5, Australian dollars. And that's a cracking channel, mate. Honestly, you need to start. Just if that's your thing, just go for it. Just go for it. Honestly, it'll go. That type of channel would take off on YouTube. Easy. A lot of people saying good morning to Stephen Johnson. This is truly Celtic forever, and won't be SSB jokes for laughing at potential losers. Yeah, it will be, won't it? We haven't played attractive football for over a year. This is true. Couldn't tell you the last time I thought we were superb today. Half a game under Wilfred Nancy. First half, I can't remember what game it was. There was a game under Wilfred Nancy where we looked absolutely brilliant. We were playing brilliant football, and then we got tanked 2-0, I think it was, in the second half, and it meant nothing. But no, there's not been a whole game that we've been absolutely fantastic. The weird situation, Huns win today. I'll be cheering against Hearts, against Livingston tomorrow. How did they get to this? Because we are shy and we shot ourselves in the foot at absolutely every opportunity this morning. Big Ange spent 46 million. Does the new manager get the same? Yes, over the course of 2 or 3 windows, he'll get 46 million to spend. A lot of people say happy Easter to Stephen. We've had Barnes, Mowbray seasons in one go. You kind of thought when we went through Lou Macari and Liam Brady, we had 2 managers back to back that were terrible, and we got that out of our system. We brought in John Barnes as part of the dream team with Kenny Dalglish, and you're thinking that could work because you've got Kenny Dalglish sort of sitting over his shoulder telling him to do things. Kenny Dalglish ended up sitting upstairs going, drinking his whiskey and smoking cigars, if that's his thing. And Barnes was doing absolutely woeful. Dalglish was there as a backup. We got rid of Barnes. Dalglish came in. Dalglish wins the cup for Celtic. Dalglish goes down as at that time the Messiah, Martin O'Neill type stuff. But then in came Martin O'Neill, funnily enough, who never was really on the Celtic fans' radar when it comes to a manager that would have an affiliation to them. But Martin O'Neill came in and just changed everything. He was given the power. And I think that the next manager that comes in has to come in and have that power that Martin O'Neill had when he first came into the club, that Brendan Rodgers had when he first came into the club. And this is why getting the decision completely right is paramount to the club going forward in the next 4 or 5 years. And I think this is one of the main reasons that we need a manager. We need to go out and give a manager a minimum of a 3 to 4 year contract, because what we're looking to achieve at Celtic now, and what needs, it's not what we're looking to achieve, it's what needs done. And we need stability. And I know that football, everything can change within a matter of weeks. I mean, Wilfred Nancy, people were wanting him out the door after 2 weeks. Nobody fancied him. I mean, people, and this is another thing, is people will look, whoever comes in the next manager, people will look at his stats, because we've, for some unknown reason, we've all went stats crazy. And they'll look at we'll look at his win ratio. And Ronnie Dyler had a better win ratio than Brendan Rodgers before he came to the club, believe it or not. People didn't like Ronnie Dyler. They couldn't wait to get rid of him. That led to Ronnie Dyler admitting that I'm not going to be here next season. So we all knew. So the fact that Celtic are looking for a new manager, and the fact that we can approach people, surely If Ronnie Dyler can turn around to Celtic before the end of the season and say, I'm not going to be here, I'm telling you this now so that the board and everyone can have time to get in the next person. In comes Brendan Rodgers. Talks going on in the background for Brendan Rodgers to come into the club. Surely Celtic should be having the same conversations with potential candidates behind the scenes, which gets back to the original name and title of the video. Are talks taking place? If it is the likes of Craig Bellamy, has he looked at the games under Wilfred Nancy, where we played the 4-2-3-1 formation? Has he looked at the games overall this season to see the standard of players and the players that are not performing? Or is he going to wait? Is he going to wait? He, whoever he is, going to wait until he gets to the first day of pre-season to see what he's got, see what he's been left with by the last manager. All the loan players will have gone. Celtic will have a certain amount of time to turn those loans into purchases if they wish. But surely leaving it to the first day of pre-season to assess the squad in managerial terms. It's absolutely bonkers, isn't it? And it gets back to one of the best comments of the day. Temporary manager, temporary players, temporary chairman, everything is broken. That's the biggest reality check that anybody ever needs when it comes to Celtic Football Club. Alistair Johnson needs his a kick in the chacks. We brought in 120 million as well. We brought in 125 million. Nothing has changed from yesterday. Going into Sunday, a lot of doom and gloom, and overnight, a lot of doom and gloom overnight. Well, I don't think it's doom and gloom overnight. I think it's a reality check. Big reality check where the club is, and it's just when you get news of the Alistair Johnson situation. Someone said at the beginning, who was it? Someone said it was McLaughlin. He said that the decision to allow Alistair Johnson to go away with Canada is as bad as the decision to go to Dubai during the COVID season. Even though you're allowed to travel during COVID, I'm going to say that because I did shitload of travelling during 2020. Shitload of travelling back and forward to Spain. You could travel during that year, but the Scottish media pounced on Celtic as if the whole Dubai trip was, you're not allowed to travel. Yes, you were. I was on flights with, there was 20 people on them. It was the best time to fly. 2020 was a hoot for flying, honestly. Getting on flights, just strolling through airports, getting onto the flight, stewardesses going, just wave if you want anything, because they're sitting up the back just like, this is easy money. But anyway, we digress. And Ange has the best buy to profit from any manager we've ever had. And that's, I would say yes, but Ange never seen the fruit of his labours because Ange decided to jump ship and go to Spurs. So who cares? We're never letting the buns in the minibus win this league. It's Celtic Trophy. Ooh. Typhoon McFlusterly says, Baz, I've got a terrible feeling we'll be playing in the Conference League this year due to the negligence of this board of ours. How many people will tune in to the Conference League? How many people will buy tickets to the Conference League football in Europe? The away fan base, the guys that go away games, a lot of them will still go because it's Celtic in Europe and they just, it's a jolly, do you know what I mean? So you'll get a hardcore of fans. But my worry is that we return to a situation, if we don't get the manager right, we return to a situation where there's a big banner over the top section of Celtic Park. Jim Lister says, "Good morning. Troops, apologies. I was watching Frank McAvenny." Well, there you go. Baz, you must be kidding. This board don't need a smokescreen to be a shit show. They'll just do it in plain daylight like they have all season, won't they, mate? And that's the reality of Celtic Football Club. Do you know, it's weird when people say that there's a lot of negativity. You know, what's happened from yesterday? Well, yeah, it was all exciting yesterday, but the news that Alistair Johnston's out injured again, he's been put back a couple of weeks. Alistair Johnston will not come in and make a great impact between now and the end of the season. If Alistair Johnston comes back after the split at the end of this month, if Alistair Johnston's out for another month, as has been suggested, he's not coming back. He's got to come back. He's then got to get fit and ready to play games. That takes 2 or 3 weeks. Alistair Johnston's not kicking a ball in anger for Celtic this season. He may get 30 minutes. He may get 10 minutes at the end of a game. He may get another 30 minutes at the end of another game. He may get 30 minutes the final game of the season. He might get 10 minutes the final game of the season, just to keep his body ticking over so that his fitness starts to pick up for match game time for him going to the World Cup. And then just like Celtic, he'll go to the World Cup, he'll have a fantastic World Cup, and because he's 27-year-old, he's at that ripe age of coming into maturity as a football player, and he will then be sold by Celtic and go off into the sunset, never to be seen again at Celtic Park. And we'll go into the season with Colby Donovan. But it's negativity this morning. It's not. It's reality check. My phone's at 6%. That's about 5% more than Dermot Despot and Cole care about the club. Ay, ay, ay. I mind showing a yellow bit of sandpaper on the Roadhog on the M8. He went, what? Treat Dermot like Maggie Thatcher, Baz. I think we need to step up that. That's a campaign I'd get right behind. Don't know. We did that back in 1988, Baz, the Scottish Cup final show. Thatcher, red card. Yeah, I remember that one. But yeah, I think that has to be. And people will say, well, why the negativity? You've still got a chance of winning the league. That's boards chat. They've got that into the majority of fans. Look, let's just hold this off to the summer. No, gonna no. And the thing is they'll get away to holding it off to the summer, and hopefully the Tangerines and Livingston can do us a turn. Lol, that's how bad it's got. Did I see we've brought in about 70 odd players in 5 seasons? I would say that's about right. But, well, if you think about it, Brendan Rodgers' first season, we brought in 9 players. That was in the first transfer window, and then we've brought in players. We've probably brought in that since Brendan came back, to be honest. A lot of people saying happy Easter. That's management. Martin O'Neill told Dermot Desmond this week, hence why he's joining the board as director of football to support the next manager. Announcement will be made at the end of the season, says Scott. Ooh, do you think so? Martin O'Neill is director of football. What does really director of football really entail? Don't know. Does it give him more power than the manager? Could you imagine Martin O'Neill having to deal with a director of football? He'd have said, "Go and chase yourself, sonny. I run the show." Isn't a director of football diluting the powers of the manager? Wouldn't Martin O'Neill be better at the club as chairman so that he could have, he could be a director of football has nothing to really do with the common situation within the club. It's a great idea, but I want a potential old school manager that goes, the fuck. Could you imagine Alex Ferguson working with a director of football? What the fuck? Big managers want to be in control of everything. Do you know, it's their neck that's on the line. If it goes tits up, people will say, well, it's all right, we've got Martin O'Neill to step back into the manager's position. That's not a good thing to have over any manager. That's what went wrong at Man United when Alex Ferguson was sitting up in the stadium watching games every week. You've got managers that are coming in, and you've got everyone around about who's going, well, fucking Fergie never done that. Fergie wouldn't have done that. Do you know? It could be a good thing, and it can be a bad thing. Joe Venglos had a 65% win ratio. It's high time that we got rid of our God-given right. Yes, it is, and this is the season that it's hopefully the penny will drop for a lot of fans, and that I said it way back in December. The treble thing has now gone. We had one chance we had the chance of winning a treble this year. You know, we get to the first cup final, as bad as everything was, and then Celtic make the decision to bring in Wilfred Nancy, which was just, you can understand why they did it. There were a lot of candidates that weren't interested in the job till the summer. You know, you had old quotes from Dermot Desmond from bygone years saying, during the season, it is never a good time to bring in a manager because managers are focused on achieving other things at other clubs, even though we've let go of a manager mid-season before, and when he was on the road to 10 in a row. You know, it seems to be okay for other clubs and other organisations to keep a hold of their asset, their manager, but when it comes to Celtic, they're very reluctant to go and poach. They seem to think that, well, we do it in proper business sense, and we'll do it during the closed window when nobody's around Celtic Park. Everything starts at the boardroom. If it's a mess, it's theirs. It is theirs. Martinez has a 26% record, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean Martinez can do a better job. Yeah, I didn't want to say that, Helen. I didn't want to say that at first. It's like it's still morning time, but I will put your message up on screen. I didn't want to really say that, but give Wayne Rooney the job. He might pump your maw. Oh. There's an upsurge in season tickets at Celtic Park. It's all women in their 60s. What's going on? A big row of 60 plus women going down London Road, queued up to get their season tickets. Rooney's outside going, come on down. Oh no, Jesus God. Next season will be rebuild will be SPFL standard, not European standard. Yep. This guy's worse than Brady. My first thought about Nancy. I think that the alarm bells, for me, the alarm bells were ringing when he walks into Lennox Town and he walks over to James Forrest and he has no idea, not a clue, who James Forrest is. And James Forrest is looking at them and going, this prick's not got a clue who I am. Do you know who I am, mate? Do you know who I am? Eh? I'm Jamesy Forrest. And it was that, and it's when he goes up to James Forrest and he kind of is like, right, how you doing? What are you up to? What the fuck do you mean? What am I up to? I'm in the gym. I've got told to come here because you're coming in, you plonker. It was a Del Boy and Rodney moment, wasn't it? You just seen Jamesy Forrest standing there going, Del Boy, you plonk, Rodney, you plonker. and you're thinking, what the hell? If this is a guy, and you're getting a job like that, the first thing you do when you're on that flight coming from America, right? You've got what 8 hours or whatever the flight is to do whatever. The first thing that you do is you go through every single player. You go through every player at the club, and go through them, study them, study their stats, whatever. Look at their images. So you're Jamesy Forrest. Do you know what I mean? That's what good managers do. Wilfred, him and his entourage walked in. I think he was like Snoop Dogg, except he was smoking vapes, not dope. 16 months I've been a member of this channel. Um, keep up the great work, Baz. Love the one Celtic fans. Thank you for that, Scotty boy. Johnny Kenny scored for Bolton last night. Just saying, Johnny Kenny will be back at Celtic next year, and Celtic fans will be left going, oh, say no Johnny Kenny again, and then they'll give Johnny Kenny absolute pelters and blame Johnny Kenny for all the wrongdoings. People who want Steve Clark can kiss exciting football. No Steve Clark, no Steve Clark, no Steve Clark, no Steve Clark. Wilfred Dancy had a 41% win rate before coming to Celtic. Who checked his stats? Yeah. I think we need to get away from the stats thing, don't we? What was Martin O'Neill's stats before he came to Celtic the first time? I bet it was nowhere near 50%. If the board said that we are world class act at nothing, it would be the first honest thing that they've ever said. This is very, very true. Saying we won 6 games under Nancy, we'd be currently sitting 18 points above where we are now. That's the reality check the board should be having, Baz. You don't need to tell me that. And if that was the case, 2025 season summary: Columbus Crew, total games 42 and 14 wins. Oof. Oof. It's unbelievable, is it? Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I thought, how can fans, hand on heart, say that we're winning a double? Lol, really? We're rotten. Any hope I had left after the United game? Says Ali Boy. It's very, very true, honestly. Ali Boy, 1888. I think that you will always have belief as a Celtic fan. Do you know, we had belief in the 1990s. We had a belief that we could go out and win. It's the mentality of the club. You know, it's the mentality of the fan base. But they also had we always look on the bright side of life. We do. We do. Right, I'm going to jump through the comments. Apologies for not reading out every single one. I've been playing Sriracha at right back. He's played there before. We could see him KT in the same pitch. So that would be an interesting one. We're only looking after AG here because he's worth 15 to 20 million to us. Alistair Johnson will be sold in the summer if he has a blinder of a World Cup. He came to Celtic during the World Cup. Oh, God. Talking about 15 to 20 million, that's what it does to you for Celtic fans, isn't it? It's all about the money. All about the power. Let's sell AJ and Dyson and then sell Rio. Bring in the cash. That's the board, isn't they? You're saying, we don't need Snoop Dogg. But anyway, God, is that just coffee that's in that? Europa Conference League. There's still a cup we haven't won. I'd love us to win a European trophy. If Stephen Johnson comes back, it'll be to set up his World Cup inclusion. Well, not Stephen Johnson, sorry, Stephen. If Alistair Johnson comes back, says Guitar Man. Irishman and Porto is in. I think the conference talk is just that. We are more likely to be in the Europa Cup. If we fail, yeah. Of course, it's negative. Nothing to be positive about, says Paul. If we win the cup, I'd rather have no Europe next season. Yeah, it's could there's a thing. Could not having look at Hearts, for instance. Hearts didn't have European football this year, so they could concentrate on domestic matters. You don't know, they could concentrate on just plugging away. Just don't look too far ahead of yourself. Just play game by game. Let's just see if we can go on a win and run, and let's just keep going, and then let's just see where it takes us. You know, no talk about title, no talk about anything. Just game by game and just see where it takes us. No pressure. Would that be a good thing for Celtic next year? No European football. That's back to 1990s stuff then, isn't it? It's everything that we've been talking about. We went through seasons in the 1990s where we didn't have European football when we didn't win anything domestically either. But maybe it's the great reset that Celtic been out. Alistair Johnson, by the sounds of it, was kicking balls on TV the other night. What the fuck? He was. I saw it. Lots of Celtic fans saw it. He was doing keepy ups in a studio whilst he went on to commentate, I think, on or be a broadcaster. You can't criticise the board as well as supporting the team. You can criticise the board as well. Yeah, you can. I was in despair at the time, Jim. I think most people can vouch for that. Yep. I'm going to jump through to the end of the comments because we are getting close to the end of the video. What's the name of the betting app you're telling us about? It is in the first description of this video. It is in the first description of the video. It's I'll put a link up. It's match betting. There we go. Copy. Put that in there. There we go. There is the link there. We have to sell Rio and Dyson and anyone who's coming into the last year of their contract. Yeah, we all know that. I think that Stephen Johnson, you back in training yet? Fraudulent slip of the tongue. Stephen Johnson's going, back in training? I'd love to just get up off this chair and out this bed, mate. Are you having a laugh? It's starting to look like Alistair Johnson isn't wanting to play for Celtic in case he gets injured at the World Cup. Yes, this is very true. We can't lose players for free. Well, we made a mess of that last year. We allowed a potential, well, a once £8 million rated player we allowed him to go for nothing, which is terrible decision. I would be for no Europe next season. Start playing some of our talented young lads domestically. Talented young lads. I did it for 7 years, 89 to 95. The barren years. That's what they're known as, aren't it? That was the complete barren years. Anyway, right, that is me done and dusted for this morning. Thank you to everyone who has been on the channel this morning. One of the funniest comments ever comes from Perth Luxury, and I would say that the comment of the day comes from Rap, and he said that Celtic is basically a temporary manager, temporary players, temporary chairman, everything is broken, and that is very true. That's what it is all about. Anyway, there's also too many shareholders, too many fingers in the pie, been getting ripped off for years, but the fans are deluded. The board have played a blinder. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to everyone who has been on the video this morning. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are all around the world. I will be back around about 4:30 this afternoon, Celtic part-time, where we'll get the full-time results as they come in Scotland today.